YouTube family, what's going on? My name is Todd. Welcome back to the channel. We're here, we talk about fashion, fragrance, and a variety of lifestyle topics. So if that type of content interests you, consider subscribing. Make sure you hit the bell to ensure you're notified every time I post a new video. Today, I'm back with another fragrance review, this time for the Harmonist Sun Force. So as usual, we're going to talk a little bit about how this one smells, its performance, the versatilities and seasons that you can wear this one in, and then we'll close with my final thoughts. So if that sounds good to you, let's jump right into it. Okay, y'all, quick backstory on what led me to picking this one up. So I was in the mall a few weeks back, in Neiman Marcus, checking out some fragrances as I typically do, and I came across the Harmonist counter. Now, I'm relatively familiar with, the Harmonist as a brand, specifically because of Hypnotizing Fire. I don't own that one. However, I have smelled it before and sampled it a few times. Definitely a great fragrance, and believe it's one of the best sellers, if not the best seller within the brand. So in talking to the fragrance rep at the counter, she let me know a little bit more about the brand and, how they're based out of France, but the founder is actually, has some deep roots and ties to Central Asia, and the brand as a whole kind of reflects that, right? So a lot of, the different compositions within the brand really play on that yin and yang, so kind of that balance between the two within the fragrances, and also just the 5 fundamental elements that are pretty central to, ancient Chinese philosophy. So pretty cool backstory there. So, I was able to check out a number of different fragrances that they have within the lineup, and that's what led me to stumbling across Sun Force. And this one here, y'all, it was really a love at first sniff, which is rare for me. I'm typically someone that needs to, sit with the fragrance for a while, sample it before, really being sold on it. But instantly smelled this one and knew it was one that definitely wanted to add to the collection. So let's check out the presentation. We have the white box with the Harmonist brand at the top, then a gold label that has the name of the fragrance and the size. So we have the 1.7 presentation here. Then on the back, we also have another gold label that just has the note breakdown. So again, very nice, relatively simplistic, clean. Okay, so let's check out the bottom. And again, carrying on with that minimal theme, super simplistic, but very beautiful. Man, this is nice, guys. Nice gold bottle, had the name of the brand and the fragrance there on the front. Pretty heavy, sturdy bottle as well, so definitely can feel the quality and see it. So I have a number of fragrances in my collection. I'd say this presentation is definitely up there with the best of them. Okay, next let's do a quick test of the atomizer. So this one is described as being elegant, vibrant, and sensual, and it's really meant to capture the awe and the essence of a magnificent sunrise. But let's talk a little bit about how this one actually smells. So I'm going to add the official notes for this fragrance to the screen, but essentially it's a mix of warm spices. You have some honey, you have some rose, and you have some sandalwood as well. And, it does have a relatively complex note breakdown, but this one is blended so well, just comes off so smooth, so refined. And, because it's blended so well, none of the notes necessarily jump out or dominate more than the other. And it's just a very well balanced fragrance, and one that I thoroughly enjoy from the beginning throughout the entirety of the fragrance. So when this fragrance first opens, you're going to get a blast of that cardamom and then also the pomelo that's up top. So the pomelo really brings that bright freshness, that, citrusy almost feel. And then of course the cardamom here, you get that spicy, sweet freshness. And again, the two just pair really well together. Really beautiful opening. I will say this one to me in the opening does remind me just a bit of YSL's Nuit alone. However, I think this one just has a little more depth. And again, as it begins to dry down, you get some of that honey, some of the other, notes that come in. Just think it's a bit warmer and maybe a touch sweeter, but definitely a similarity, at least in the opening, to my notes. So again, as this one dries down, that pomelo does fade off a bit, but you're still left with that, beautiful spice from the cardamom and the saffron as well, and then that honey. And I think that's really one of the key players, in this fragrance, because it adds a touch of sweetness, but it never gets too syrupy sweet or too dense, and it's just really a nice balance, right, between that honey, those spices, and then of course as this one continues to dry down, you get some benzoin, some sandalwood. Also, incense are listed here in this fragrance. I don't get much of a smoky or real incense vibe, but more than anything, again, really just that warm spice, that subtle kind of soft, sweetness from the honey and the benzoin, and then of course some sandalwood, a little musk in a base. Just a really phenomenal fragrance in my opinion. Okay, so let's jump into versatility and performance, and we'll start with versatility. I think this one is extremely versatile. Again, in the opening, you get that pomelo, so you get that fruity freshness, brightness, mixed with those spices and the sweetness from that honey and benzoin. Really an extremely versatile fragrance in my opinion, and again, one that's fresh and light enough in the opening that it works in warmer weather, but also has enough depth, enough substance there, and enough of that kind of warm spice mix that this one will translate well, of course, through the transitional seasons, but even into cooler weather. So for me personally, this one can be worn year round, and I plan to do just that. I did just pick it up about a month or so ago, so I've worn it a few times here over the summer, and it's worked great. But I'm definitely looking forward to getting some use out of this one as we approach the fall. So lastly, let's finish off with performance. For me, this one performs really well, getting 8+ hours with each of the different times that I've worn it thus far. And in terms of projection, this is parfum concentration, so for me, it does sit a little bit closer to skin. I'd say it projects pretty well for the first hour, maybe hour and a half. After that point, I'd say it does sit a little closer to skin, but again, still leaves a really nice scent trail, and one that I think to be more on that fresh, spicy side. I think it's actually perfect in terms of the projection and the performance that it has. So overall, I think it definitely checks that box and is one that has great performance. So wrapping up my final thoughts, Sun Force by the Harmonist. This one is really great, y'all. Very much so enjoy it. To me, it's extremely versatile, performs well. It's one that, is, in my opinion, signature scent worthy. It'll give you, a unique take on a signature scent. And, one that, again, just has that complex note breakdown, but really well blended, super high quality, and just, really does a lot of things well. So for that reason, definitely pleased with this purchase, and we'll probably be checking out more from the brand pretty soon here. So if you're looking for a new warm, spicy scent that works really well year-round, so it's extremely versatile and performs well, I would consider checking out Sun Force by the Harmonist. This one is a 10 out of 10 for me, one of my favorite fragrances that I have at the moment. And, it's one that definitely, has a very appealing DNA, so it's going to pull in those compliments, but has niche level quality. So I would consider, checking this one out, y'all. Sun Force by the Harmonist. 10 out of 10, definitely is a great one. Okay, and that wraps up today's video. I want to take a moment to thank you all for joining and tuning in. Do me a favor, drop a comment below if you've ever tried Sun Force by the Harmonist or anything from the brand. Definitely would love to hear about your experience and learn more. And as always, look forward to seeing you all next time. Peace and love.